And we are live. If anyone's watching, welcome to the first Vigilantes playtest, a new playset for Blades in the Dark. If this comes to fruition, which I very much hope it will, this will be part of the core book when it's released. And I've got, so far, I've got David and Noam on with me. If you guys want to say hi.
Hi, I'm Dave. Some of you may see me posting on G Plus on random things. Some of you may not. I'm around.
And I'm Noam. Hello.
Howdy, sir. Both of you guys. These two gentlemen, plus Sean, who we're waiting for, have both graciously agreed to submit to playtesting. So hopefully this will be good. I very intentionally did no prep for this because Blades is a game we're not supposed to have to do prep for. But I do have Andrew Shields' very awesome Blades in the Dark Duskwall heist deck, full of all sorts of interesting people and situations and interesting objects and locations that I will probably pull upon if we need to. And we also have, within Vigilantes, there is a starting situation. So if we don't kind of create our own situation, our own problems to go off of, then we can default to that.
I would like to say that Sean did not put a pistol to our head to force us to do this. It was a musket.
It was a musket, yeah. I was going to say, it's because I don't own a pistol. Yeah. No, I think I've been playing. We talked before we went online that we've each been playing Blades at like various different iterations. Sometimes that throws me off. But hopefully this version, I think this version is going to be very, very close to the final one. At least the version of Blades. Of course, we're playtesting Vigilantes, so who knows? All bets are off there.
Well, I hope it's close to the final. I mean, the game, I don't want to wait too long for the game.
I know.
I thought I was going to have it around Thanksgiving. These things happen with Kickstarters, though.
Yeah. Well, the originally all the play sets, all the stretch goals were due, I think, first in October. Mm-hmm. Then they were due in January or February. No, January. And here it is March, and I'm playtesting mine. I feel pretty good that it's done at least. Like, it's done enough that it is playtestable. But
well, there also were a lot of rules revisions, which I'm sure made it harder to rate the play sets.
Yeah. Well, what I did, because I knew it was going to happen, was I just made all the abilities just narrative at first, and I didn't add any rules till the end. So, like, and a lot of those changed anyway. As soon as I started writing them down, I was like, oh, it doesn't make any sense. I think one really interesting misconception that John disavowed me of was that there's no Bruce Waynes and there's no Oliver Queens in Blades in the Dark, in Duskwall. Like, nobody is like rich and just randomly philanthropic. No one's like, somebody killed my parents, so now I'm going to be a good guy that punishes villains for life. And I have all this money, and I could totally just never do it, but I've decided to. Even Vigilantes are kind of scraping, so Omar from The Wire is much closer than Bruce Wayne in this setting. Like, even though your jobs primarily get your reputation instead of coin, they still do award some coin, and you still need it because, like, you got to pay the bills. So I originally had a move in there called Flush, which was to basically make you be that sort of independently wealthy character that didn't care about money, and your crew just started with coin at the beginning of every session. And that move has been stripped because it's not Duskwall land. So.
That's good. I was actually going to ask, like, so where do you see what sort of heroes are? There's no like Iron Man type or Bruce Wayne type.
Yeah. So it was a good. Thanks for asking that, Noam. I had to think about that a lot because John pointed that out, that there aren't any Tony Starks either.
Tony Starks.
And so I've broken it up into 4. I think 4 may be one too many, but I've broken it up into 4 core motivations for Blades. So the first one are the burners and breakers, These are the people. This is on page 2, motivations advice. These are people who have realized that trapped inside the lightning towers with all these ghosts on the outside, that nothing can happen, but the city just is going to get more and more and more corrupt, and there's just no way to stop that cycle. So the only thing to do is either to burn it all down or to break open the gates of death themselves. So either you're kind of Ra's al Ghul, like the solution is kill everybody and start over, or you want to defy the very nature of the setting itself and kind of go larger than life and try and break, try and close the gates of death again, so that you can kind of deal with the fact that this setting in which people cannot die and so their ghosts just haunt everywhere restricts people to these very small places, and in those places over time corruption just breeds upon itself. So that's sort of one group, the burners and the breakers. The other group is all in the family, and they're people who are basically community organizers trying to protect themselves, and they care about their friends or their family or the people in their community, and if they are really, really successful what they do, they're going to end up becoming organized crime. If they manage to only succeed moderately, they might stay good guys, but if they become too good, they're going to start creating rackets. And so it's a very deliberately the razor's edge of that group is that it's very, very easy to become the bad guy. If you're looking out for your own, how far do you go? Like, why wouldn't you just keep on trying to elevate yourself above everybody else? Eventually, initially it's to protect yourself, but eventually it's to assert dominance. So that's all in the family. And then there's real police, which is spirit wardens or blue coats that realize they're part of a complete corrupt system, that they're not really solving any crimes, that every magistrate has a dozen people putting their hands in their pockets, and they basically are like, forget this, I'm going to go out at night off duty, whether they stay blue coats and spirit wardens or whether they quit the force and do this all on their own. And like they decide that they're going to actually be real police and like stop crimes because they know they're going on and the system is too corrupt. And then the final one, the kind of the closest thing to the Iron Man, like the closest thing to the rich philanthrope is not of this world, which is you're somebody who has been communicated to by an angel, by a demon, by somebody else, and they've kind of given you a divine mandate to clean up the place. And you may have supernatural powers because of that, or you may just have a cause that is sort of beyond the pale. But in that model, like in Not of This World, you're like it. There are no other vigilantes. You're the only ones in all of Duskwall that this entity has contacted, and you stand out because your cause is actually noble, but your benefactor may very well be just a demon with its own, agenda. So that one, the idea being your concern is, well, we think we're doing the right thing, but is it actually the right thing? So those are the 4 ideas I had about how a vigilante could exist, and I kind of want to play with those and see which ones make sense, and if I should cut some of them, if I should change them. But that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I definitely see the influence of, I don't know, now that you mentioned Omar, like the real police thing, the Wire.
Yeah.
And maybe that's just just seeing that with the Duskwall thing now, I'm like, whoa. Makes
like it's kind of funny because Omar doesn't actually have a type himself, because Omar isn't a crew, he's just
he's just an
individual. But if you consider like Omar and his posse, I would call him all in the family, and I think he's just not very successful. I think the reason why Omar stays virtuous is because he never gets ahead. He pisses too many people off, and so he stays virtuous by the fact that he doesn't have the opportunity to. And like the one time he finally does make it big and like has a lot of money and like totally set himself up for life, he trades it out for revenge. So I would love to see Omar type characters exist in Duskwall, because like the Blades never assumed that someone would gangs never assumed someone would take them out for anything other than to just like seize their stuff. So somebody doing it because they're just like, I hate you. I'm doing it because you're a jerk.
Yeah,
Because it's fun to rob from the robbers.
yeah. No, it's a good MO. Did you have any playbooks in mind that you were looking at, David?
I was thinking of maybe the slide, maybe a couple of other things. I actually sort of want to try something out with the system, which is it's something I really haven't seen the players do, but it really does allow for you to break the archetypes of your book. So you could make like a militaristic slide
Mm-hmm.
or a very like intelligent attuned cutter or something like that.
Totally.
I like to give it something along those lines a try. I haven't
Absolutely.
decided exactly what, but
Yeah, it supports, I mean, to use sort of a archaic term, it supports like multi-classing very well because the veteran move and the fact that the playbooks, the biggest defining difference between the playbooks is how you get XP.
mm,
And even that, like we're playing in our game with John, um, Adam's character Cantor like started as a lurk, but we realized like he's really more of a hound or a cutter, and so John sort of tweaked his playbook so that he gets XP for the same thing that cutters do, which resolving issues through threats or violence. So like you can totally hack apart the playbooks.
mm.
And the game natively supports a lot of that, but you can go even further than its sort of native support. And I'm super happy to do that. I'm super excited about seeing where that can go. So I'm all for it. I have heard of somebody playing like a super militaristic whisper that was like worked on a Leviathan steamship. Was
Mm.
like was the like I think like the quartermaster or something like that was like the person in charge of like making sure that all their equipment wasn't like tainted, and so they had to like verify that no like demon blood got anywhere it was supposed to go and all that stuff, and like if it did, basically remove it, but also like bust the heads of whoever messed up.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a
I mean,
uh, pretty cool
the other
take.
way to go with like playing a fighty whisper is to do like a railjack.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Noam, are you familiar with what is it? Ghost Echo? No, not Ghost Echo.
Yeah, I've read it. I haven't played it, but
Yeah.
yeah. Um, yeah, that would be neat. Yeah, last time I'm trying to remember I think I was a whisper last time. What's that one? Yes, I was a whisper last time.
Yep.
Probably just try something else,
Sure.
just to lurk, or maybe I was looking at lurk, or maybe cutter.
Yeah. Spider is
Um,
brand new. It's sort of the mastermind role. That one was made by Strach. Um,
okay.
and it's in the very back of the. I mean, we could, but it's a little fringy. But it's in the very back. You can also play a ghost if you want to be dead. um,
Wait,
it
is this in the? I'm not seeing that in my
Yeah. So check
playbooks.
out if you go. Let me pull it up. Actually, I'm speaking.
I think I
Uh,
saw that. It's in the full quick start, I believe.
yeah, it's in Quick Start 5. It is page. What is it? It's not quite the end. Page 52 of Quick Start 5.
That was something that I hadn't thought about, just because I saw in the most recent one, but when you sent out the player only one, it's like it's so much easier to look at the player only one.
Yeah, yeah, not to scroll so much. Yeah. Um, John shared with me the Hull playbook, which is a Hull is a clockwork body animated by a bound spirit. Oh my god, it's so cool. It's like Eberron with the Warforged, but hella scary and fucked up. um, You're playing this, and it can be like anything. Like you might be like a cat, you might be like a carriage, you might be like a watchtower, like you might be just like the form of your body, and you might actually have multiple bodies. Like your spirit might be able to try to traverse between them. Um, the form of your body affects a lot of your abilities, but it can they can be made for lots of different purposes. So I can't wait for him to release that one because I think people are gonna. I think suddenly there's gonna be like games where like everybody's like automatons and ghosts and stuff. There's gonna be like, guys, is there anybody that's like a person that has like one human body and one soul matching them?
It's passe, man.
Right, because you could totally have like an undead that has that's a body with a soul, but it's not the right one, and play somebody that's possessed that's two souls. I think, um, what was the game? Wraith was this game that I think a lot of ways was like ahead of its time, where one person plays their character, and another player plays like their shadow, and they're like vices and their sort of darker side. Um, and I don't think John's going to do anything along those lines, but I'm really excited. I'm really interested to see what he does with possessed characters, because I bet he'll make them really cool too. Where you have like a really strong incentive to play sort of the conflict between the two souls inside you. I don't know. So because Sean isn't here yet, sorry everyone who's watching, you just get to hear me gush about how excited I am. Let's play set. It's funny because like when I very first started, I thought Vigilantes was going to be really like way like off the spectrum, like, oh, good guys and blades in the dark. That doesn't make any sense. But like the more John's doing, I'm like, oh man, my thing's so tame. It's so like mild. All I do is like change people's motivations. This stuff is so much like more gonzo.
Well, if you want, we can go pretty gonzo with this.
We can't. I mean, that's why I put Not of This World in there, is I kind of wanted people to just be like, I want to be superheroes, basically. I mean, that's kind of the, like, go ahead and be a superhero excuse. Like, and all that it does is it just flavors the way you do things. If you're like a cutter and you take a move, like, what's it called?
And that actually reminds me of one of the stretch goals that I was most excited for. The one where you play like C-list supervillains that are trying to do things like, rob banks while the superheroes are busy like stopping world domination schemes.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, that's so delicious.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good. I'm also really excited about the Shadowrun hack. It's gonna be just awesome because it's super, super, super appropriate, and it's not going to be Shadowrun, but it's going to be Shadowrun with the serial numbers filed off. So, all right, it's almost 7, so I'm going to check and see with Sean if he's on.
I'm going to run to the little boy's room for a second. I will be right.
I do not see Mr. Hayworth.
I'm going to start typing up a character sheet in Google Docs so that I can make a character.
Cool. Oh, yeah, I don't have any. There's no form fillable PDFs yet, which makes me sad.
I'm used to playing Apocalypse World online, where basically there's no. I've never seen a form fillable Apocalypse World sheet, although I'm a little surprised about that. But it's super easy to just type out a character sheet.
Yeah. I think I remember playing Monster Hearts one time, like on a napkin. I was like, you have your 4 stats, I had like 2 moves, and the strings, and I was like, done. It was, it's like I don't need any more than that for this character. mute myself for a second.
And if people want to shortcut this, I will throw a link of what I've typed up for that right in the chat, so they can just kind of. It's bare bones, but they should be able to just go from here.
Cool. I'm gonna put that in the event post as well. Nice.
Oh, I missed stress. No, it's a Google Doc, so it doesn't really.
Yeah. So an interesting thing I found, I don't know that this is explicitly in the rules somewhere, but I thought it was really cool that we were playing doing a heist last session, and John was like, "Oh yeah, you don't need to specify your gear until you need to use it." And it's kind of cool that I hadn't really thought about it. I was just kind of assuming, well, I'm going to check off the gear you have. And gear is more, instead what you do is you say, before each heist, you say, like, how heavily loaded are you going to be? So you pick, like, are you going to be light, are you going to be normal, are you going to be heavy? And then that affects, like, how obvious it looks like you're going to go do crime. Or in this case, going to break up crime. And then as you go, in the sort of same spirit as flashbacks, and also in the spirit of not, sort of make you spend a lot of time to make plans, as you go, you just check off a box when you decide, oh yeah, I totally have demolition tools on me. I got like a crowbar and chains and whatnot. I just have them like strapped to my back and wrapped around my waist and whatnot. I pull all that stuff out and cool, I'm ready to put a hole in this wall and bust somebody out of jail. I just like did not occur to me until you mentioned it, which I thought was really, really cool and super fitting. That like, unless you actually have like a gear up montage, which would be like acquiring an asset, you can just have whatever is on your sheet when you decide you need it.
Yeah, when I ran base Blades in the Dark, it was during the first quick start, and then I read like maybe the next two versions very closely because that's when I was doing my hack of it. But I never read that was explicitly how equipment worked. I just knew that you own everything on your list, but you don't have everything on your list with you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's cool. I'm not sure. I should probably look. See what it says about equipment.
And of course, anything in italics, it's like, why wouldn't I have that with me?
Yeah, totally. Of course, I got that. Yep, no, it's right in there. I just don't read. During the for each operation, decide what your character's load will be. During the operation, you may decide your character has an item, or checking the box you want to use, up to a number of items to your chosen load. Your load determines your movement and conspicuousness. I think we have that as well. Yeah, one of the crew upgrades we've got for Vigilantes is concealed gear, and that's my like tiny homage to Batman and whatnot. It's like, aha, you just whipped out this thing, and essentially it's you get to have additional load. You get to have more stuff on you than it looks like you have on you.
I would be a fan of that. I think that sounds awesome.
I like it. I like being able to. I like the flashback mechanic, and I like the picking your items as you go, because it just allows your characters to be cool, and also prevents players from having to like spend too much time worrying about little stuff.
Yeah, I think the thing that appealed to me about the system is how it takes the planning part of heist games like games like Shadowrun basically.
Yeah.
And makes it just like, okay, like let's see how that went, regardless of whatever your plan was. It's like the complications come up, and I don't know. I enjoy it.
I agree, it makes it easy for the GM too, because they just kind of go like, okay, you're gonna try and break in, and then you kind of look at the way they describe the break-in and decide like, well, how well prepared are they? And then you just roll the engagement roll to see like, yeah, that goes just like you thought it would, or no, that like it didn't matter how much your characters planned. In the moment, just like James Bond, it never goes as you expect. Like something throws you off, and it's not, and that like is really nice, because it's never the players being like, oh crap, we didn't think of that thing that the GM stumped us with. We should have planned longer. It's like, no, you just tell us your idea, and then we roll some dice and see how well they worked, and and so you don't have to like it's not punitive for lack of planning. And it also doesn't mean that the GM has to figure out like the GM also doesn't have to roll over and be like, well, you made like a pretty foolproof plan, so I guess you just get all the stuff and walk out and there's no problems. Good job, guys.
Yeah, and also I like that it's Sean's here.
Good evening. I apologize.
Hey, Sean.
For my lateness.
It's all
How you guys
good.
doing?
Noise.
We're good. We're good.
We're just talking.
Sean, I know you know him, but do you know David?
I don't think we've met. Good evening, David. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Oh, parenting and businessing today. So, yes, Dice Stream, you do have my permission. Sorry.
All good. I'm so done with businessing. So done with thinking.
I keep telling myself that we're going to be done with businessing, and we never seem to actually get done with businessing.
Yeah. Oh, here it goes. All right. So, Sean, what's your familiarity with the current rules? I think it's none, right?
Zero.
Okay.
I have seen my exposure to Blades in the Dark is that apparently people play it.
It happens.
And it's I guess a game with like words and stuff.
Well, here's the crazy thing: the game hasn't come out yet, but accessories for it already have.
Right. Of course they have. No, my understanding is that it is a pretty heavy modification of Powered by the Apocalypse game.
Yeah.
Centered around like being awesome thieves and stuff, and doing like heisty kind of things, all of which are up my alley.
Yeah, I mean, you're a fan of Liza Lamora. I know you're the one who told me about that, and it's intended to emulate that. It's intended to emulate Dishonored and Thief, and my particular hack. Vigilantes is intended to emulate like The Crow or Omar from The Wire.
Oh God!
Or just
I'm
like, yeah, awesome. Like people who still live in this like shitty world, like they're not exempt from the shitty world. So as I sort of telling the guys before, there's no Bruce Waynes or Tony Starks. They're like super billionaires that just fight crime for fun or for personal vendettas. Everybody is. You're still probably poor and shitty.
You're saying can't just be doing this for a personal vendetta.
No,
I'm sorry,
you can. You just don't come from the privilege of not having to worry about your other life concerns. Like if you do it, it's really probably at your own peril.
You robs drug dealers. Sorry, I just got to season 5 of The Wire, so that's.
Dude, I love The Wire so much.
I haven't seen The Wire at all. Don't worry about it. It's spoilers to me. But one thing I can say is in this setting, if your goal is to rob drug dealers, you have a lot of options.
Nice.
Oh my god. Yeah. Cool. So let's generally speaking, the kind of standard methodology is you make characters, and we do it all collaboratively. We kind of talk about what we have in mind. You can both be talking about the mechanical things you want to do, but also where you want to be from and what might motivate you as well. And then once we have at least the characters sort of roughed out, we pick a crew type. In this case, we've already picked the crew type. It's Vigilantes, because that's what we're playtesting. But even within the Vigilantes, there's going to be several options of the crew type, and one of them is the motivation, which is on page 2 of the the Vigilantes document. I'm going to link the document just in case anyone wants to see it. And so I posited 4 motivations I thought would make sense in this world, but I'm open. That's definitely one of the things I want to playtest is are those appealing? Are they satisfying once you pick them? Is there something else you would rather do? Should I remove some? Should I add some? Etc. So
I do have a question about motivations. Is it something that the whole crew has the same motivation, or is it each character has their own motivation?
The intent is that it's a motivation of the crew, and the reason why, they're written as such. So they're written as that, like, at least in the case of Not of This World and Real Police, like you have, or All in the Family. Actually, all of them except for Burners and Breakers, you really have something that would have spoken to multiple people, that you have some sort of common background or shared background. So that would be part of your motivation. That said, every vigilante gets the obligation vice for free, which is your own personal motivation. So everyone's going to have their own cross to bear that they choose. That because obligation is a way to satisfy remove stress, is to satisfy your vices, is to kind of basically spend your time working towards your vices, and one of those vices is having an obligation. So in normal Blades, you pick a vice, but in Vigilantes, you pick a vice in addition to obligation. You have that one as a free one. So I guess the answer is both. The crew selects one, and the individuals have their own personal stakes in that. So let's do that. Let's pick some playbooks and make some scoundrels, even if they don't think they're scoundrels. So Sean, you have the sort of like just the playbooks I sent over.
Yes. Yep.
Cool.
As far as I know, I printed everything out that was relevant.
Excellent.
So I should be good.
All right. So yeah. So character creation starts with choosing a playbook, but if you guys sort of want to talk about what's interesting to you in the setting before doing that, that's cool too. If you want to use the quick start that we have that puts you in Crow's Foot, which is a very hotly contested area, there's lots of gangs that operate in it, then you could base off that, but we could start in any district. I'm super open.
So one thought I'm having, and I'm not trying to say that we have to do the Real Police thing, but I'm thinking, and I think this works well with the obligation. I'm thinking I'd like to play a character who actually is a blue coat and is still an active blue coat, and that could be his obligation, is he's still on the force.
He's still on the force, yeah.
But is doing this as kind of an extracurricular activity.
Right. Yeah. Is that because he doesn't feel that he's sort of really like being effective as a blue coat, or is it because he just can't get enough? Is this like a certain amount of junkiness that he's like, I don't want to stop being police. Like I like busting skulls. of blades, I'm just going to keep
I
doing it.
haven't decided. It may be a completely different motivation. Maybe it's a revenge thing. I don't know
Oh yeah,
yet.
nice. Maybe
Uh,
you want revenge on something that you can't do within the Force. That's cool.
yeah, or maybe he's trying to like protect something. I haven't decided, but I do like the idea of using the obligation to try out being a blue coat and a vigilante.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, in terms of the gang playbook, I was thinking All in the Family was appealing to me. So like, it kind of makes sense. It's like, oh, this is my brother, the cop, and he's
yeah.
still, he's like totally
Totally.
on the
I
page.
love my brother, the cop, who's like
Yeah,
supposed to be
the
on
blue
the straight
coat.
and narrow, but might totally
Yeah,
be on the take, might totally be representing the family way above the law.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd be
Uh,
down for that.
cool. So sort of a premise of All in the Family is, at least at the start, because you guys are a tier 0 gang, is that you're a family that is being, if not stepped on, could,
Yeah,
well, let me rephrase that. You're being stepped on. Like, nobody's
yeah.
not being stepped on in
Right.
so that's another thing, is like maybe having somebody in the blue coat is a big step up. Maybe that's your opportunity to kind of like grab hold a little bit from being, maybe this is the first person that's ever made it in the blue coat. I don't know. Up to you guys, but I like that idea a lot. That you're a cop
Did,
looking up your own.
does anyone have ideas about playbooks?
Not yet. I'll be honest. I haven't had time to sit down and look through stuff. So I will
The
I will
cool
play
thing
play the noob in this game.
The cool thing
Sorry.
is that the playbooks, like the sort of Apocalypse World and Monster Art playbooks, they're defined by a really short blurb. So
Right.
a cutter is a dangerous and intimidating fighter. A hound is a deadly marksman and tracker. A leech is a saboteur and tinker. A lurk is a stealthy infiltrator and smuggler and burglar. Sorry. A slide is a subtle manipulator and spy. And a spider is a devious mastermind. And a whisper is an arcane adept and channeler. So that's the basic rundown of them, although they're very permeable.
Right.
So
Okay.
I do think I'll go with the slide,
cool.
which is now altering the the link that I posted, but people can kind of copy and paste the the structure for that.
Okay. And
Yeah.
I'm guessing like Apocalypse World, that it's like there's only one of each playbook.
No.
You can do multiples.
It's very specifically like John, I think, has really hoped. And I don't know that he's voiced this specifically, but I'm fairly certain he's hoped that there would be like a gang of all lurks or
One.
all cutters. Or something
Oh,
like
okay.
that.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's totally there. There's nothing particularly precious about anything in Blades. I mean, mechanics wise, Blades or Vigilantes, PCs in Duskwall are much more competent in general than NPCs.
Right.
You have like definite advantages that you are a step above the normal person, but you fill all the same kind of roles. Like there's other whispers out there. There's in fact there's probably lots of them. So yeah.
Okay.
If you're feeling slide as well, and I think there's plenty of variation within the playbook as well. So.
Yeah. No, I was mostly asking just for clarification.
Cool.
I was looking at either the leech or the lurk. Apparently, I'm in an L mood today.
I'll be a cutter.
Cool. It's good for us to have some muscle.
I'm feeling lurky, I think.
Well, I will be honest. I am putting 2 points into skirmish as a slide.
Nice.
Like I said, I'm looking at ways to kind of break the mold here.
Yeah. No, I love it. Well, you as a blue coat, you gotta bust some skulls.
Oh, absolutely.
Now and then. And if you get in a gunfight, I mean, I know from our game, Cantor Haig likes to pop blue coats in the head with his pistol. You want to be You want to be mindful of that fucker. He's the leader of
Uh,
the Six Towers gang.
Actually, I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to go with the leech.
Cool.
Nice. We're gonna blow some shit up.
That was going to be my next question. I'm like, this seems like the guy that can blow stuff up.
Yes. The
Uh,
leech. The leech
awesome.
starts with Tinker, which is the thing that you would use to be blowing stuff up, and kind of just goes from there. Their special abilities continue to sort of develop that. Awesome.
Nice.
So everybody's got a playbook. Now choose a special ability from your list. If you choose veteran, you can choose off another list, and that's a way to kind of, if you want to sort of blend two of them, you can take veteran and pick something off the other. But if you're kind of down with your core concept, just pick one off of your list. It looks cool.
I'm so taking mesmerism.
I'm gonna go straight up with alchemist.
Nice. You slay somebody, you cause them to forget that it happened until they next interact with you. Oh, that's nice.
I'm going to be not to be trifled with.
You are
count
not
as-
too traveled with.
I count as a small gang in close combat.
Oh,
Nice.
nice.
Yeah, so there's a lot of scale. There's a lot of Apocalypse World is very flat in scale. It's like you try to do something and you roll and the outcome is really based on the results, with the idea that you can't really try something that you're not in a fictional position to try.
Right.
So if you're like, I just want to fix all the problems and I'm going to go aggro on the problem, like the GM's going to say, well, wait, what does that look like? And you're going to have to break it down. In Blades, it does add in elements of scale and fictional positioning. So your ability to do something isn't just defined by the die roll, it's also defined by things like quality and scale and potency. And so you might roll stunningly well, but still have reduced effect because you're just super outclassed.
Right.
It doesn't mean that you inherently can't do something, but it might mean you have to break it up into smaller pieces, or that you're going to have a much harder time at it than you would expect. So that basically is relevant when you start throwing down. Cool. So everyone's got their special ability. What was I looking at? The next step is to choose a heritage. The heritage is where you come from. And Sean, I don't think I included that in the
No, I have zero background in
the
information.
background. So Sean, I'm going to recommend for your character, so as to me not to go over all of them, is that you be from Akoros, which
Okay.
is the continent that Duskwall is on.
Okay.
So that making you a local, and thus us not necessarily needing to kind of go into all the differences. Akoros is has dark forests, rocky hills, rich coastal cities with colonies, mining colonies deep inside. Duskwall is on the far northern tip of Akoros, and it is notable for being where the primary place where the Leviathan ships that go hunt demons for their blood to fuel the lightning towers come in. So it's a very important port city of Akoros.
Okay.
Akoros is also where the imperial city is. So the emperor, all hail the emperor, reigns from Akoros. So you're like the center of the universe from the
Right. Where all the interesting shit happens.
where all the interesting shit happens. Yes.
Gotcha.
You're Waterdeep. You're Lankmar. You're
Right.
all those places.
all those King's Landing. Yep. Gotcha.
Yeah, King's Landing, exactly. How about those you guys?
Is there set details about the world here? Because I didn't see it in the quick start.
Page 58 has the Shattered Isles. It is literally just, I read the entire Akaros entry just now. It is, and then added to it,
Okay.
honestly. It's just a tiny little bit. So yeah, so if you guys are
I'm from the Dagger Isles.
nice tropical jungle, people there live without lightning barriers. So lightning barriers are the thing that are these crackling lightning towers that prevent ghosts from passing over them. And without them, the city would just be constantly assaulted by ghosts. In fact, anybody traveling between cities, there's little lightning coils along the edges of the trains. But even those, they still have to have rail jacks to like basically like fend off ghosts that would try to make it in, because there's just ghosts everywhere outside the city. So Dagger Isles, because the gates of death were broken open, and now when someone dies, they always become a ghost. So like anybody who dies, their body needs to be burnt in electroplasmic fire. Otherwise, they will become a ghost to haunt the world.
Nice.
Yeah, it's just a shitty reality that we live in. So how do people prevent themselves from being all possessed and fucked up by ghosts in the Dagger Isles? No.
They have weapons that they like their holy men infuse.
Yeah.
That can fight off the demons, and actually the demons are just avoided because
They know it's bad news. So are there like constantly dudes on vigil along the coasts of the isles?
There's basically like hordes of barbarians that have these specially blessed weapons that can drive back the demons, and so it's just sort of like a thing where it's like it's not even worth the trouble. Like,
right.
Yeah.
I imagine there's like surges though every once in a while. Every once in a while, a bunch of ghosts like mount up and they're like, "We're gonna take that shit because we really want some juicy flesh."
Yes.
And nice. And when the priests bless the weapons, is it like a one-time deal, or do they have to be like anointed every morning, or is
they have to be anointed every morning. It's
nice.
like basically their whole. It's takes a lot of upkeep and resources to physically fight off these demons and ghosts constantly.
Nice. Awesome. Were you one of those warriors once?
Yes, I was.
Nice. You have a once blessed blade?
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you know what? It's broken.
Oh, snap.
Or I guess it's just not blessed.
Right, because it has to be blessed like every morning. Right.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool. All right. How about you,
It's
David?
a club.
It's a club. Cool.
Yeah.
How about you, David? Where do you want to hail from?
I think I'm going to be coming from Duskwall itself, so a chorus.
Awesome. So, oh yeah, since you guys wanted to be all in the family, so what?
I'm a cousin.
You're a cousin. I like it.
I'm like cousin Balky.
Don't be ridiculous.
Our uncle had a strange idea, maybe a little bit of,
Dude, there's serious money to be made in Dagger Isles. There's a lot of trade that people will do if they can survive it. So, and they're part of the empire, right? Like it's a crazy outback, weird part of the empire that most people, flee from. But it's not like Tycheros, which is like filled with demons and they're strangers. Awesome. So since we are going with the family tie, Sean, what's I think on that player reference sheet I gave you, it had lists of names. Is that right?
Probably. Hold on.
I've
made a mess around myself.
Yeah, it's really easy to do when you have this many handouts.
Because I'm that guy. Right now.
Yeah, I'm the same way. It's just as bad.
There it is. Names, family names.
Yeah, what's your family name? I mean, you don't all have to have it because of, who knows what else, but like, what's your family name?
I think we are the Waylands.
The Waylands. Nice. You know a Wayland. Is that good with you guys? You down with all being Waylands? I think it's actually Wathen.
I actually think that I'm claiming my name is not Waylon. I've
Yeah.
like changed it a little bit so I'm not so that I could join
Right,
join the Blue Coats.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know, it's like back in what would it be like the 20s I think it was when like people who were like the children of Irish immigrants had to
Yeah.
change their names because
I was
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
say, yeah.
they were so associated with organized crime.
Right. So, yeah, no, I love it. So, like, so what is the Wayland family name mean? Like, what does it stand for to most people? Like, what do they think of? Uh, is it disparaged? Like, are you low, or are you like known to be particularly seedy? Or are you known to be
May-
do you have principles? I mean, it could be anything.
Maybe it's one of those. I can't remember what. I think there's both Irish and Scottish families that did this, but like somebody way back in the day, like stole somebody's horse,
Yeah.
and they just like nobody ever forgave them for it. Like they just ran him out.
Just
Nice.
horrible blood feuds.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and it's just like everybody hates those guys, but nobody really remembers why. It's just everybody always
right.
still hates them.
But you totally have a blood feud with the Bookers. The Bookers
yeah.
and the Waylands have just fucking hate each other forever.
Yeah.
Um, and just there are Booker like taverns that don't have any words anywhere. It's just like like the symbol above the tavern is. I mean, there's a lot of people that are literate in Duskwall, but still, like symbols are more common. So like, there's a tavern. In fact, I've got tavern names if I just dig around for them, where the hook and line. It doesn't have any words. It's just like, there's like a symbol of like a fishing hook and a line because it's next to a river, or it's next to a coast area. The only word that is in it is Wayland with an X through it, like in the
Nice.
window. It's like, no Waylands here. And like, it's the old, like, you're just not welcome in that tavern. And as long as you're not a Wayland, it's like no problem. Anyone can go in. But it's just
Nice.
because it's Booker owned, and they just fucking
Right.
hate you guys.
Right.
Because
That's
you stole
definitely
their
where
horse.
my character is starting, by the way.
Nice. You're starting
Like
at
you're in the bar.
Like
You're
in the
in
bar,
the
like,
hook and line.
what? I'm who now?
Awesome. I think we have a starting situation.
All right, wait. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead.
And that story I took right out of when I was in Scotland. I was in Glen Nevis, and there's literally signs that says no Duncans allowed. It's just like, and it's just a thing that just goes back from forever.
It's just fuck those guys.
Well, it's because when Bonnie Prince Charlie was in command and the English were taking the north, the Duncans were a family that like folded really early on, and just everybody hates them because they bent knee really early and they turned on Bonnie Prince Charlie, and so they're just hated there. I mean, they're not like universally across the whole world, but in Glen Nevis, they're just. Oh, and to anybody who's from Scotland, if I'm getting a name wrong, I apologize. It was back in '97. It was almost 20 years ago when I went. So if I've got the name of the town and the family name wrong, I apologize. It is my memory from a while back, but it was pretty hilarious to see those signs.
So when it says heritage that you assign an action dot, you basically just assign an action dot that you think makes sense to go with your heritage?
Yes, and I generally kind of I don't know if I wouldn't say if I expedited or not, but I don't know if this makes it faster or not. But often I just say go ahead and add 4 action dots at the end, and if you want to tie one to your heritage, cool. That way you're not like worrying too much right now. But if you like feel like the Waylands stand for something, like the Waylands are all really good skirmishers, so everybody should have a dot in skirmish because they always get in fights, or they're really good hunters because that's what the family. Does the family have a thing they do? Like, are they tanners or gondoliers or?
I was thinking of making a mine survey because Honestly, like it's dangerous. Like Dustbowl is a dangerous city, and especially when you're stuck growing up in the same neighborhood as people who want to slit your throat, even though you're 8 years old.
Yeah,
You're looking over your shoulder.
cool. I like this survey. Makes total sense.
That does make sense.
Yeah, and it also makes sense for me, like having to scan the horizon, look out for demons, and
Yeah, absolutely. Although um, uh, if you specifically want to look out for demons, not that I don't think you should take study because it's super appropriate. But if you want to actually be able to sense ghosts and things like that, you may want to take a tune. You could take that independently. You'll have more action points to spend, but attune to spirits and ghost fields, channel electroplasmic energy, perceive and communicate with ghosts, and understand spectrology. All right, I love
I don't
it.
know if I want to consort with them.
You don't know if you want to consort with them? You don't have to. That's optional.
Okay.
All right. So the next step is I'm gonna bug you guys again to figure out what the Waylands do, because whatever you do, the Buckers are gonna do too. Because then you can fight over jobs for the same thing.
I was thinking that I was smuggling, so maybe like trade. I don't know, but I guess mainly smuggling.
Oh, I think I've got it. Our family are notorious fencers, not as in swordplay.
But as in selling stolen shit.
Yeah.
Yes.
That
Nice.
works.
Awesome. And notorious fencers. And are you notorious because you've does the in part of the famey come because you have duped people and sold them bogus stuff, or is it because you've gotten caught, or deals have gone wrong? Well, I guess what's the one thing that went maybe there's not a general sense. What's the one thing everybody knows went horribly fucking wrong?
We got caught selling to like 2 rivals, like
Nice.
because nobody likes it when like one person's selling to like 2 people fighting.
Yep.
I think we also have a reputation that we will sell anything. Like someone stole a golden gargoyle off of the Imperial Palace, and somehow it ended up in our shop.
Right. Nice. Awesome. I think you might. We'll figure it out, but maybe you sold to the Lamp Blacks and the Red Sashes.
Oh, yeah.
Because those two hate the fuck out of each other.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
And that way they could both hate you as well.
Yeah. Starting off on the right side.
Awesome. So I would say, like, the Bookers, I don't want to put them in a position, nobody's, like, in a position of total dominance, but I would say the Bookers are maybe a newer, sort of up-and-coming family that doesn't have the bad stigma of screwing up, but they still hate it that you have old contracts. And so they have been burned by you stealing something of theirs. They got burned. They're part of one of these affronted parties. We'll figure this out more in a bit. But I think that even though they might sort of outnumber you and have a beat down on you, you still have some contracts that they desperately want. So they put the part on you, but you still have things that they want, and that leaves neither one of you quite in that. Like, you kind of each have something over on the other person, if you like that.
I do.
Contracts. I love it. Awesome. Okay. Choose a. No, look at the wrong sheet. Choose a background, and your background is going to be academic, labor, law, trade, military, noble, underworld. So it is where your family, which in your cases might be different because the Wayland family might be big enough that some people are, like, clearly some of you have moved off into um, the Dagger Isles. Like that was, I'm sure, the reason why whatever contingent of Waylands came down to the Dagger Isles was thinking that trade would be good there.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's what I was thinking.
uh, and it sounds like your character is like, you know, out of touch enough that that was probably generations ago, or at least a
Yeah,
generation ago. So you were
yeah,
born on the Dagger Isles. That's your home. That's what you know.
yeah.
But way back when, the Waylands thought it'd be really good to start set up shop over
Mhm.
there.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe when they were a little more legitimate or something and had far-reaching, or maybe not.
sure.
Maybe just when they were on the upward swing as opposed to
Yeah.
downward
Yeah.
wave.
No. I like the idea that you did have a glory day. The Waylands were somebody once. Could be somebody again.
Yes. Okay. So, Sean, we get 4 additional action dots that we can put anywhere.
You get a total of 4. One that you affiliate with your heritage, one that you affiliate with your background, and then 2 more of your choice. So at the end, you'll
But like,
have 7 dots because you have
okay,
3 that are like predefined,
right. Okay.
and then you'll get 4 more total.
And what's the line like having the skill? The line that goes in between the first and second dot.
Yeah, so that applies to resistance. So if I say somebody grabs a hold of you and tries to like throw you to the ground, and you say, "Okay, I slip between their grasp," I go,
Hmm.
"Cool, you're trying to resist them. It sounds like you're trying to resist them with prowess because you're trying to slip out from them." Then what I do is we count all the dots in the first row of each column in prowess. So if you had
Hmm.
like 1 dot in finesse and 1 dot in prowl, and that's all you had, you'd have 2 dots in prowess.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay,
So
that
it's
makes
kind of
sense.
like the system rewards you both for going deep and broad. So if you go deep, you're good at doing certain things, but if you go broad, you're good at resisting things in that category, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Uh, okay.
So what do you want your background to be? No,
Oh, underworld.
cool.
So yeah, smuggling, back and forth, or maybe just like working at the Dagger Isle docks for most of the time after getting kicked out of the military, or just stopping because uh, yeah,
Cool. Nice.
because
Well, if you want the military to have been your primary like occupation in life, you could take military and you kind of came into Underworld. But if you want like that to have always just been sort of your cover for the way you smuggled stuff in and out of the army, was that you joined, but you were always sort of working for the family, then Underworld totally makes sense.
makes sense. Okay, yeah, I'll go with underworld.
Cool. Cool. How about you, David?
Well, I already said I was going to be a blue coat, so law.
Law. Nice. And Sean?
I went with labor. Um,
Cool.
I think I work in a mine, like doing the chemical separation of like useful materials from raw ore.
Nice. Yeah. There's a lot of ore that gets mined and brought up, um, and like mining operations are not a place that anybody wants to spend any amount of time they don't have to. So like the moment they rip that shit out of the ground, they're taking it somewhere to be processed.
Right.
Um, is that been the cover for the Wayland family? Is that you kind of like your cover business is that you do raw material processing, and that is kind of how you guys hawk. Like you use the transport of bulk raw materials that are kind of big and stinky and gnarly, and nobody wants to look at them to hide other kinds of shit that you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because it's
Awesome.
either like big and gnarly and heavy, and nobody like wants to deal with it, or it's I'm just basing this all on the fact that I picked the alchemist, that like it's been drenched in caustic chemicals and probably is horribly unsafe in some way.
Yeah, totally. So people are just like, no, I don't want to look. Like nobody wants to inspect it that closely, and that's how
Right.
you guys hide all sorts of shit. I love it. There's just rails, absolutely everything. So at some point, I'm going to ask you guys where the twist is for your characters. The twist may be very subtle. The twist may the difference between makes you blades that are just doing crime and vigilantes, just that you've been sort of beaten down enough that you're fighting back now. But maybe there's more to it. We'll find out in a little bit. Maybe not. All right. Okay, so you've got your background. Okay, assign action dots. So go ahead and assign 2 action dots to anything, and if you didn't assign an action dot for heritage or background, assign one for those. So you'll have added in a total of 4 action dots.
Okay.
If you haven't noticed, I already finished doing that, so I'm just kind of
sorry.
looking on the next parts.
No worries. Yeah. Feel free to skip ahead.
Don't worry. Take your time.
See that 2 dots in skirmish and 2 dots in sway. It's pretty nice.
And all right. So I've got 1 in consort,
Cool.
2 total in wreck,
Nice.
1 in prowl, 2 in tinker, which I got for free. I got 1 of my wrecks for free.
Yeah.
1 in prowl and 1 in survey.
Cool.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yes.
Awesome. How about you, Noam?
I have 1 in finesse, 1 in rec, 2 in skirmish, 1 in command, 1 in survey, and 1 in hunt.
Sweet. So in general, when you're describing actions, as you do something, we'll try and find the activity, the action that matches up, or the action that matches up the most with what you're doing. But if you say like I jump the guy and I start pounding on his face, I'm like, okay, cool. Sounds like you're skirmishing him. But if you're but if there's something else you're doing, like no, it's more that I'm just roughing him up and scaring him. I'm actually trying to intimidate him. I'm trying to command. Like that's always totally cool. We can adjust on the fly as needed.
And I believe there's some overlap. It's because you can be like, yeah, I'm wrecking this guy's face.
Right. Yeah, I am sad because the skill wreck and skirmish used to be the same skill. They used to just be called mayhem, and it was just like bust things up. But
there were 2. There was one that was just like outright uncontrolled violence, and one that was like very like purposeful, like
this was murder.
Controlled.
Yeah, that was so it was murder and mayhem, and murder was just very controlled, and mayhem was wrecking things. But it also included like wrecking objects, and now it's sort of been parsed out that there's only one sort of fighting skill primarily. But yeah, there's that little bit of overlap with wreck too.
I mean, I noticed there are a couple of other ways to do damage. Like you can do it with prowl. If you're just like sneaking up behind someone and slitting their throat.
Absolutely, yeah. Alrighty. Let me get to the next one. So items carried, we're not going to worry about. You'll just pick that when you go on jobs. Choose a friend and rival. You can do that now off of your list, or we could do it sort of in play. Uh, but there's a list of people you know, and you know all of them. But one of them is going to be closer to you, and or one of them is a close friend or a lover or a family member, and another one is a rival, which may also still make them a close friend or lover or family member, but perhaps an ex-lover or a betrayed friend or a
Right.
bitter.
Oh, I'm already fucking with the setting. I'm taking Bazo as a friend.
Oh, nice, nice. So let's see, Sly. Yeah, Bazabaz, the leader of the Lamplacks,
Yeah.
who hate you as a family, but like you in particular.
Well, so my so I've kind of like am parsing this out in that, my character has like an alter ego for when he does the vigilante stuff. But he also changed his name for being a blue coat because there's no way a Wayland could be a blue coat.
Sure,
So,
you'd never. You'd walk into the office to like apply, and they would just take you to the Iron Hook prison. Like,
Yeah, go directly to
the blue
jail.
coats, so the blue coats thinks he's Wesley Wales. His alias for when he's doing vigilante stuff is Duke Bancor, because I'm a slide, I'm wearing fancy stuff.
Nice.
No, I don't actually I stole this.
So who does Bazo Baz know then?
Yeah.
What identity does he know you as? What identity is he friends with? Let me ask you that.
And that's a really hard choice.
Yeah, I agree. You can pick it later if you want, but it should be somebody.
Yeah, I'll think about that. But one of, probably one of two, because he's definitely not, he definitely doesn't know that I'm a Wayland.
Right. That makes sense. I don't think he likes Waylands on principle, from what we've established.
So on some of these, it looks like that there are setting specific, like, positions they hold. Like, I have no idea what a blood dealer is.
Oh, nice. Let's pull up the leech real quick. A blood dealer. Man, I wish I had John on tap right now. There's a lot to deal with. There's a lot to deal with. The prevailing church is called the Church of the Ecstasy of the Flesh.
Okay.
And there's definitely like a hedonist, orgy-filled party aspect to them. But the original sort of the founding of the church is based on the elevation of the body over the spirit. It's sort of the opposite of Christian dogma.
Right.
And the reason for that is because of the cataclysm. Because after someone dies, they become something horribly corrupted and awful that just feeds and is just terrible. So rather than believing that when people die, their spirit is rarefied, they go to some mystical afterlife. It is very clear to people of the Shattered Isles that when someone dies, like what's left over is bad in just every way. So
right.
I imagine that a blood dealer, I think there's lots of sort of blood sacrifices and bloodletting, both for spiritual reasons and also for recreational reasons.
Okay.
And so I'm going to say, and I'm making this the hell up, so John, tweet at me if I'm getting it wrong. But I'm going to say that a blood dealer would be somebody who works in the service of the church, not as a priest necessarily, but as like a merchant role within a merchant role that sort of, instead of supplying things like frankincense and myrrh and communion wine, they supply blood.
Okay. Nice.
So it's a secular religious connection.
Gotcha. Well, I am buddies with Eckerd, the corpse thief.
Awesome.
And not so good of friends with For Melista, the
Priestess.
priestess.
Awesome.
I'm enemies with Nirix, the prostitute. He is actually my lover, but it's a really ugly relationship.
It's a painful, yeah. Current lover or previous lover or
It's complicated.
it's complicated, right? Your Facebook status is it's complicated. All right, I should write these. I should write these down. Eric's, rival, lover. It's complicated. Complicated. Okay, and Sean, yours was Peach. Eckerd, it's your bud.
Yep.
I totally can imagine. I totally can imagine that being another thing that you guys would sell. Well, yeah, bodies, sure.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, to
Absolutely.
medical students or whatever. Or whatever.
whatever.
Emphasize on that.
Hey, that's completely against the law. What's that shiny thing over there?
Yeah. No, I was just saying because it is way more so like corpse theft to us is just like considered like this very macabre kind of that's a really we would look down on it as a gross sort of crime, but corpse theft in Duskwall has a whole other connotation because if the spirit is still in it 3 days after a body dies, 3 days, give or take, like 3 days on average, a spirit will rise out of a dead body and become a ghost, a hungry ghost that will try to consume it or possess all around it. Or sometimes if the person who died with a really strong drive, then their ghost might come back with that drive as well. But they always come back as a ghost. So corpse dealing is really like mega illegal in Duskwall. And the interesting thing is like if you have a corpse that the soul has already left, it's ostensibly like not dangerous to anyone. The spirit's gone. It's just a body now. But nobody knows that. Like unless it's really horribly deteriorated and clearly older than like 3 days, like nobody knows if a ghost is gonna pop out of it or not. So
nice.
So yeah, it's right. Well, so I imagine you and Eckerd have done some have swilled a few bodies in various states.
Right.
How about who is
So my I have a family member who's Grace the Extortionist. I'm figuring she's kind of the center of this family operation, or
Cool.
maybe if not the center, or I don't know. It's or at least my character is definitely not the center of this family.
Maybe
operation.
she's like Mama Whalens.
Yeah.
Like
Right,
she
mother.
might not be our mother, but she's Mama Whalens.
right?
And she's sort of been the only person that's taken me in
Awesome.
after coming back from the Dagger Isle. And then my rival, or friend turned rival, is Chael, a vicious thug.
Jail. Did you sell him out or vice versa?
I think he sold me out. He participated in the violence against our family that beat us down, and I found out that I was part of the family, and I was like, you gotta stop this. He's like, I'm getting paid, and I was like, all right, our friendship is over.
Over.
And,
so he's a booker then. He's Chael Booker.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Cool. Nice. Okay. And Dave, who is your friend or lover? I know Nirix is your lover, but who's not your rival?
Yeah, Bazo is my
Oh
friend.
yeah, Bazo.
He's
Sorry.
actually a friend. I've decided he's friends with Wesley because this Duke who is totally like must be rich, but for some reason likes hanging out with those insane Wayland's boys.
Nice. So he sees in Duke Wesley. Um, he sees in Duke Wesley like opportunity and respect, and like this is somebody that he can work with, even though he might choose like pretty poor friends. Like, but
Wesley is like who he is to the Bluecoats.
oh, I'm sorry, I got it.
So,
What's Wesley's?
the alias is Duke Bancor.
Yeah, but what's Wesley's full name?
Wesley Wales.
Wesley Wales. There we go. Wesley Wales.
We're playing Vigilante, so alliteration.
Absolutely. Wesley Wales, the Blue Coat. Yeah. Well, I mean, does he have you on the take?
Yes.
That way you're friends, right?
Because of that, we learned all about the delicious things that the Lamplax are doing.
Yeah. Awesome. I love it. So he has you on the take. So he's like, I'm paying you so that I don't get arrested for any of this shady shit I do. And you're like, yeah, absolutely. This is totally gonna happen. You take your money.
Then we sell the information to the Red Sashes.
Right, but then we, as vigilantes, come and jack you.
Yes.
Because I didn't turn you into the cops.
No.
But I did tell my brother. I love it. So that friendship, I will tell you, is a tenuous one. It is relying upon a lie that I cannot wait to see unfurl in disastrous ways. But we will find out, or perhaps it will be maintained. Okay, I love it. I love it. Okay, let's go to next steps. I think we're mostly there. Choose your vice. So everybody gets obligation for free, and you get another one. But the way vices are handled is a little different for vigilantes.
Okay.
It's not that they don't have the same vices, but the way they're articulated is a little different. So go ahead and look at page 2, Motivations and Vice. And so you're going to pick 2 vices, and for each person you need a purveyor of the vice. That is the person that you can go to get that thing. So if your obligation is that you're a blue coat, then your purveyor is going to be like your captain, like the person you go to kind of like, or it could be a fellow blue coat that like is your partner, like expects you to walk the beat with them or something like that. But it's somebody, it's a particular person that personifies that vice, and if they are removed, you have a problem. You cannot satisfy your vice without finding either another purveyor or getting them back or changing the vice in some way. So like that person is tied to a vice. So so I know, David, I know your obligation is that you're a blue coat. Who's your purveyor? Who do you sort of?
Let's go with Captain Edwards.
Awesome.
CO. Pretty straightforward.
Yep.
Totally in the. He's totally in the, or let's say she. She's totally in the pockets of the Lamplax.
Okay, awesome. So Wesley Wales and Captain Edwards like show up to Bazo Baz, and it's like she brought you in. Like, yeah, this guy's good. Like don't worry, he's in the know. So that's why you've been relaying. You've been ferreting deals between her and Bazo, and like at least at the start, this is all great, right? Things are going great, except you're seeing, and this is perhaps where you have a certain conscience about it, but you're seeing like the just like absolute lack of doing anything regarding that's at all about protecting the citizens of Duskwall, up into and including hurting your family. Like maybe that wouldn't have mattered to you until it meant, oh, the Lamplacks are going to do something to the Waylands, and the blue coats are going to support them. And it's like it's not enough just to thwart them. Like you've got enemies on all sides. But, or that's just an idea. Throwing that out. Completely in the pockets of the. Okay. And this is a sort of a playtest question. Do you want to have another vice besides that?
Yes.
Cool. What is your other vice?
Pleasure.
Cool. So the examples I put in that are praise from your wards, which means praise from your family, basically. Your lovers, your friends, indulgence in food or drink, reading old histories, sport, etc. What's your form of pleasure?
I think being a blue coat, I've had a slice of I have been brought to the Silver Swan pleasure barge. Kind of with Captain Edwards because hey, we're being bribed by some pretty powerful people.
Sure.
This is like
Gotta spend that money somewhere, right?
This is greasing the wheels. And I might be a little a lot enamored with it.
Nice. I like it. Let's see. The person who runs. So Captain Edwards will take you there, but just for your own benefit, because I don't want to tie you. The Silver Swan pleasure barge is.
I see Eldarin Pritchard is being listed as. That's where I got it. Was
Yes.
on the Purveyors of Vice.
Yes.
They're being listed as someone on the Silver Swan pleasure barge.
Yes.
We can define exactly what their position and who they are later.
Yeah. I have some ideas, but we'll figure it out. Eldarin Pritchard is your purveyor. Awesome. Sean, what are you thinking?
Okay, so I get obligation for free, and it's if I'm getting this right, because we're all in the family, the obligation is to. Is it just to a person, or is it the implication that it's somebody in the family?
That's up to you, because your crew as a whole is going to have its own sort of governing motivation, which in this case is sort of duty to the Wayland family. So
Okay.
you don't. So basically, while your crew is going to be as a whole working to protect and sort of secure the strength of your family, your personal obligation may only be to a particular individual, or it may be to someone even outside of it. It may be to to anyone else. It could be to the church, to someone you love, to a friend, to a cause even. That could be outside of that as well. So you don't have to stick with a family specifically.
That's fine. I was just making sure that I was on the right kind of path.
Well, in one of the examples I put in, there's like carrying on a family tradition. So it may be that like alchemy is not, or maybe not an alchemy, maybe something else you do is like sort of not in vogue anymore, because it sounds like the Waylands have really changed. They've had to adapt with the times. So you might also have something that you're like, no, I'm going to keep doing this even though it doesn't make any goddamn money, and even though it's like I'm going to restore our legacy by the thing we used to do, even though it's super not in vogue. So it can also be like a thing you do too. There'll just be somebody associated with that thing.
Yeah. Okay. So for obligation, I think my obligation is to Cantor Wayland, who is my younger brother.
Awesome.
And he was born with a deformed arm. So he's got like one arm is kind of shriveled, so he's never he can't really work in labor. He's kind of not in a position to take care of himself, so he needs somebody to take care of him.
Yep. Nice. I'm already envisioning the montage scene where you like try to build him a mechanical arm and have to like animate it with the spirit of somebody dead to make it work.
That sounds like it could only go terribly.
Terribly awesome.
Right.
Cool. And do you want a second vice?
Yes. Stupor.
Stupor.
Yeah, I'm a junkie.
Awesome.
I think I am too, by the way.
That's great. So a few forms of stupor are a powder. Powder is very common. There's Averick, the powder dealer. It's snuff, right?
Okay.
There's which is like a really tame standard kind of like nobody thinks twice about
Right.
it.
I need the strong stuff.
You need the strong stuff. Let me find the there are drugs. There are more drugs than this.
Well, there's always freebasing demon souls.
Yeah, always that.
That's a thing. That sounds awesome.
That's a thing now. Where is it? Duskfall Notables. Duskfall Notables. There was some people that trade in some gnarly. Yeah, I'm not finding it, but from what I can tell you from my experience with Duskwall, there's absolutely people that do fucked up shit with demon blood. So it is intended. It is a very state-controlled commodity, and it is intended to only be used to create electroplasm to fuel the lightning towers and to burn the bodies of corpses so that spirits don't rise out of them, or rather, so that the spirits inside them are destroyed, so they can't rise. It burns the body too, but what you gotta do. But yes, there's absolutely a market of demon blood. In fact, the Six Towers Gang is more than happy to supply freebasing demon blood. So
nice. Yeah, because I'm picturing like opium den style. Like, yeah, I should be off doing something responsible, and instead I'm over in the shooting gallery.
Hitting up, yeah. So I think it's injected, and I think you get these fucking alien euphoria that cannot be produced any other way, because you are literally until your body sort of absorbs the demon blood, while it's like until it's kind of been reached equilibrium, the high that you get from shooting that stuff up directly is just unearthly. Like there's nothing like that experience, and we can figure out what that euphoria is like later. But yes, I can see you absolutely slammed on that. And if you have a name you would like to be your supplier, that's cool. But otherwise, I can give you one.
Yes. Hold on, I forgot to write down the name of my brother.
Cantor Wayland.
Cantor, that was it. I think my my dealer is Ramira.
Awesome. Cool. All right, Gnome. How about your vices?
So obligation to the family. At one point in the Booker's beating down our family, there was a pretty brutal attack, and several of the higher ups died, including Gracie's husband Malier, and he was a powerful part of the family, and I've been sworn to seek revenge for that.
Nice. And
Um,
so is Grace your sort of purveyor? Is Grace the person you come back to tell how that's going?
yeah. Um, and is that okay too? That she's also the family
Yeah, it's totally
relation?
cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
And then I also have Stupor. I was thinking though, I don't know what like I'm picturing uh for my character that he would want like a very powerful painkiller because he's probably sore all the time from
Okay.
hitting
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Um,
So uh, what is it? There is something. Black Lotus, I think.
that sounds
Uh,
good.
Um, yeah, Black Lotus. It's that was the thing I was originally looking for. Although I do like it. I'm very glad we went with rebasing
Demon Souls.
Demon Souls. Yeah.
That's too intense for
Oh,
me, man.
you know. In fact, Sean, if you look
Yeah,
now, if
yeah.
you
There,
look,
I just saw it. I'm like, what? Oh, Blood Needle. That makes sense.
yeah, there we go. So Blood Needle, awesome. So yeah, Black Lotus, or Trance Powder,
Probably
whichever.
Black Lotus, I think.
Awesome.
And I get
Yeah,
it from someone I only know as Mr. Sleepy.
Mister or Mistress?
Mister.
Mister Sleepy.
Wait.
Although I've never seen their face, I
Wait.
don't know what they look like, so it could be a
I'd like to add some details to Mr. Sleepy. He's kind of like Prince Valium from Spaceballs. He's just like always young.
Nice.
Think, so do you have chronic pain? Then?
Yeah, I think he has a lot of uh, has had a lot of run-ins in his lifetime, not only just
Yeah.
growing up in the Dagger Islands, but also like working on the docks. He probably like moved a bunch of or moved a lot of heavy stuff.
Yeah.
And then in general, he tends to express himself and solve problems with violence. And
Yeah.
so, yeah.
What if also like Black Lotus is just uber freaking common on the Dagger Isles?
Yeah.
So, like so much that it's just like yeah, like have your like it's like instead of having your beer at the end of the day, it's like everybody takes Black Lotus because you live in like this really savage
Do
place. It's really brutal.
So
And
people
it's
here
just growing
inject it.
everywhere.
People here inject Black Lotus, but we chew on the leaves. Like,
Oh, nice. Yeah.
like
And it was just everywhere. Everyone was like
yeah.
just day to day. You were just chewing the leaves all the time. And so now, even if you're not in physical pain, you're like in withdrawals if you don't, because it's not just like ubiquitous now.
Mhm.
I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. I love our broken, ruined, terrible characters. So people we have that are kind of in your face. We've got Chael Booker, who is who sold you out and got into run-ins. I see Nrix causing some like more personal complications for you. Does Nrix know your various identities, Dave?
Nyrix.
Yeah.
I think she knows that Wesley Wales is actually a Wayland,
Yeah.
but she doesn't know about my extracurricular activities.
Okay. Makes sense. And I'm assuming Captain Edwards is gonna probably cause you guys some grief as well. Excellent. Okay, I think we're almost. We're probably gonna actually. We very likely are probably gonna like do character creation and then do crew creation and then be like, cool, that was a session. So once we get done, I will see if you guys are free for another session and we can play these characters. But even if we just make them, that's fun too. We'll see. All right, you've got so choose your name. Dave, you've already got several names.
Yeah.
What's your Wayland name?
The one that I'm actually like going and doing during these missions is Duke. I may have to change it because the name is just kind of a pain. Um, Duke Bancor,
Duke
or like
Bangkok.
Bancor for short. Um, it's definitely like, I'm pretending to be this like this high society person who's like, yes, I'm coming to, do these actions against these nefarious people to end this horrible street war. But no, I'm really just like, from a crime family, pretending to be a person, pretending to be someone else. Like I'm thinking like this plays out very much like, what was uh, it was the movie, um, why am I blanking on the name of it and like all the actors and the director of it? It was the one that was taking place in Boston, where like the the cop was undercover with the crime organization, and there was another cop who was a detective who was a secret mole for the same crime organization.
21 Jump Street?
No, it was probably like 6 or 7 years ago.
Who was
It was
it?
by a really big director, and I'm just blanking on everyone's name and the name of the title.
Who was in it?
Um, I'm blanking on
No
everyone
worries.
in it.
No, it's all good. If it comes back to you, let us know. But you've set up this horribly complex, convoluted thing. I can't wait to watch it all go parade and
Fall
get
apart.
crazy. Sean, how about you? What's your
Uh,
character's name?
this is Emmeline Wayland.
Emily Wayland.
Yep.
Awesome.
Her alias is Echo because she has a tendency to repeat the last word she said.
Nice.
It's just a tick.
So it's almost like it's a stutter, but it doesn't come off as a stutter. It just comes off as
Like she'll be talking and she'll be like, so we're gonna do this thing and go blow up this clock tower, and yeah, just like the last word of a sentence, she'll get distracted and then repeat it.
nice. Doesn't realize she's even doing it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, The Departed is what I was thinking of.
Okay.
Departed. Nice. Cool. All right, Noam.
My character's name is Thasselrath Waylander, and he goes by. I'm trying to think of like it's probably a name that's like maybe he goes by Thrasher.
Oh, Thrasher. Awesome. Cool. So you all have aliases. Appropriate. Makes sense.
Duke Bancor, what's your real name?
Wesley Wales, but you know that I'm actually a Wayland.
So you're Wesley. Your name's actually Wesley Wayland.
Yeah, my
right?
name's actually Wesley. I just changed the last name to cover up,
Okay.
family relationships.
Love it. Love it. And Emil, Thasselrath, and Wesley, how closely related are you? I mean, I don't think Thasselrath would be a direct sibling because of.
So he's probably a cousin.
Like, certainly could be a cousin. But how about Emil and Wayland? Are you brother and sister? Are you cousins as well? Are you?
I think we're half siblings.
Half siblings.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It annoys me that you don't actually have our name.
Well, no, I
Because
think
I don't hide it at all.
No, I think I should have your. I just was raised by a different mother, and so hid what my name should have been.
Right.
Yeah.
But you should wear that with pride, and you don't.
Yeah.
Go keep complaining when I bring you all the great scores.
Yeah. Well, I'll stop complaining then, but I won't let you forget.
Wesley, is Bolette your mother? and she's still with us. And the reason why I ask is that I'm not a particularly big fan of killing off female characters to motivate male characters, but we have Grace Wayland as the Mama Wayland figure, and so I wonder if your mother is sort of much as the Wayland name does not command a lot of respect most of the time. If your mother is not a Wayland, then I wonder if she is, where she fits in. If she is above, below, trying to fit in, trying to distance herself, or not present at all.
Just because things aren't messy enough. My mother is dead, and she is still around.
Nice. Mother still around. Got it.
It's you know what, that's probably what contributed to things going sour with Nyrix.
Yeah. Were you part of the reason why she's still around? You and Eckert is Emil's friend, but Eckert might have.
I think what happened was I was off in a different district when Villette died, so no one was around to discover the body.
Mm-hmm.
So no one was around to discover the body.
Nice. So this wasn't an intentional preservation. This is an accidental.
No, this is just oh God, my family is so messed up.
Yeah. Well, what I would love is if because whenever somebody dies in Duskwall, there's this huge tower full with crows, and a giant bell, a crazy loud cacophonous bell goes off whenever someone dies, and the death-eating crows, not immediately, but eventually within a couple hours, they fly over to wherever the body is, and they start circling around it. And I kind of like the idea that you guys are shitty enough and crappy enough. The Spirit Warden's fuck it, we're not even dealing with that. No, we're not going there. There's no chemical spill in there. It's not worth it. Just sort of slacked on their jobs. Cool. I think your characters are basically made. You can. It's looks are over on the right. You can sort of choose various looks, but hold them for now. And when we sort of start play, when we first see your character, I'll ask you tell me what they look like.
Okay.
So we'll do that. Cool. Let's make your crew. And a lot of times in a shorter game, I might say we'll have the crew be I'll fill it out, pre-fill it out, or we can even skip it. But in this case, since what we're playtesting is the crew, I want to go through it like we would normally do. So the first question is, what drives you? And I think you guys picked All in the Family, so we're good there. But I realize I need to add the drive to the crew sheet, so I'll fix that. But what would you say your drive is? I mean, that All in the Family is kind of a generic thing. For you guys, what is your goal, or what is it that you're? Why is it that there's crime you are specifically trying to stop to protect the Wayland family?
I was thinking maybe we're trying to disperse the major gangs in Duskwall, so there's no longer a gang war in in Crowsfoot, so there's no longer a gang war going on in our territory, and honestly, just be free to do whatever the fuck we want.
Nice.
That was my thought on this. What do you guys think?
Go ahead, Sean.
No, go ahead.
Sorry, I was still sort of formulating, so go.
I'm still formulating. I was gonna say I'm cool with whatever, because I got nothing right now.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, I think I like the idea of having a rivalry with the Bookers that may be more revenge based. Like, so maybe I'm going along with this. Yeah, let's get rid of all the gangs, but can we start with the Bookers and really make sure that we like make them bleed for what they did?
Right.
And then yeah, maybe I'll stick around for the rest of that. Whatever you want to
Oh, sure, yeah. Like,
Like we're gonna end all the violence,
whatever the hell
starting
we
by
want.
killing all the bookers. Yeah.
Right. This gang violence has to stop.
So who are the bookers allied with? Is it the crows, which are like the dominant gang in the crow's foot? Is it the lampblacks or the red sashes, or is it the 6 Hour gang, which is like the up and coming demon blood selling gang?
I think that they've signed on with the what are they, the crows,
Cool.
and they're low on the crow totem pole, but that doesn't mean that they don't think of themselves as now being like hot shit.
Yeah.
I think they've definitely been elevated higher than they normally would be because of the war between the Lampblacks and the Red Sashes.
Yeah. So the bookers have kind of the bookers for one reason or another are valued by the crows because they think that they can help them control the they think that they can help them control the district, the quarter, and like sort of calm this war between the Lampblacks and the Sashes. So ironically, and not unfittingly at all, both of you have similar goals. Both the bookers and their patrons, the crows, want peace in Crowsfoot. But you just want it in very different ways.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody wants it on their own terms.
Yes. Awesome. And I think the bookers, since you guys are sort of rival smugglers, the bookers are supplying the crows, and that's what's sort of elevated them, is that they have created a supply chain for the crows that they were sort of cut off from. Oh, actually, the crows just changed leadership because their old leader was killed. So it could have been that their old leader used to buy things through you, and their new leader now buys things through the bookers.
Oh, those fuckers.
Do you like that?
I do.
Yeah.
Okay. Supply chain bookers. Awesome. Cool. I love it. I love it. You're going to end the violence in the crow's foot, starting by killing the bookers. All right. Choose one special ability. In this case, so you have one special ability automatically, which is as good as your word, and that is that you can spend rep as coin in your downtime actions. Basically, that represents calling in favors and having connections and putting your own kind of neck out to get things done, or to get people to do things for you, rather. And additionally, you may take obligation as a second vice. So we've already sort of got that covered in your character creation. And then you pick one more special ability, and because I'm playtesting, I'm going to have you pick actually two special abilities. We're going to kind of assume that your gang is a little bit more advanced than a starting gang, just so we can play with a few more of the special abilities. So what do you guys like?
I actually don't see this document, the one that's specific to the Vigilantes.
Oh, I will email you. I will put the link in chat.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
I think Life is War seems pretty appropriate.
Seems like it to me, given your guys' state.
I like the sound of it, that's for sure.
My job.
Well, let's just say we're probably at war with at least one other faction. So
Yeah.
The Bookers, by extension, the Crows.
That's right.
Yeah.
Probably pissed off someone else on the way.
So I think you said to take two in this case, right?
Yes, yeah.
What if we also took a thorn in your side in to imply that we're pretty low down on the chain, but we also fight dirty.
You're really fucking scrappy.
Yeah, when you use deception to target a higher tier faction, so we're good at being the underdog. Gain plus 2D on the engagement roll.
I'm a fan, but I designed the playset, so I feel that I'm biased.
That does sound good.
All right, let me. Sorry, I had to dig. I don't know why I didn't have it handy. Here's the link to the Vigilantes playbook, and this is on page 7 and 8 that we are right now. Okay, so you guys have Life is War, and yeah, you can. We'll do faction status in a moment, but you absolutely can start at war with the Bookers. That is not going to be a problem at all. Do you want to go with Thorn in your side?
Sounds good to me.
Cool.
Yeah,
I like using deception.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah. So whenever you try to execute a plan, you're like, I'm gonna steal this thing, I'm gonna kill this dude, I'm gonna make this thing happen. Instead of doing the whole planning 6-hour talking about everything, I just ask you one detail. I actually ask you how the plan is. What kind of plan is it? Is it an assault plan? Is it a deception plan? Is it an infiltration, an occult, a social, or a transport plan? And then for each plan, I'm going to ask you one question, which is like, if it's a deception plan, like, what's your method of deception? If it's an assault plan, like, where are you going to attack? And you may know it, or you may not. You might have to go gather information to figure it out. But then once you do it, we assume that you've made all the provisions to do it, and if you need to, there's a flashback mechanic to let you kind of fill in any blanks. So there's several different plans, but the deception plan is one that where you're pulling out tricks and dirty fighting that people are not expecting.
Nice.
Cool.
I'm really kicking myself for missing this Kickstarter now. Thank you.
Thank you. Isn't it really good?
Yeah.
When you said you wanted to run a Liza Lamora game, I'm like, dude, this is the game that was written to do that.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. I'm looking at it now. I'm like, it ran fine in Cortex Plus, but
Yeah, right. Cool. Choose reputation. Your crew's reputation represents how they're known in the criminal underworld. You earn XP whenever you bolster that reputation. What do you guys want to say your reputation is? Let's see. I'm trying to remember if there are. Yeah, there used to be a fixed list, but now it's just open.
Well, we said notorious fences.
Yep.
So
I think really the reputation, I might be thinking the reputation is we don't back down from situations no matter how ridiculous.
Yeah, I was thinking something like tenacity or something.
Fearless.
Yeah.
We will fence the thing that is very publicly and obviously stolen from very powerful people because we're just no, we'll do it.
Yeah, someone is going to sell this thing, why not us?
Scary.
Awesome. So I put down tenacious as your. I like it.
Which I think that's why we can just openly oppose all sides in this damn.
Right until you're all killed to a man and woman, but yes,
right.
Yeah, that's why you don't get flack for it because everyone's like, it's just what the Waylands do.
Well, I think they're there's a little bit of pushback because of it because they're like, man, these guys are just saying that the gang war is bullshit, so why are we letting it happen?
Yeah.
Nice. And I think that's what might be what's keeping us as vigilantes instead of blades. Is that we kind of are building this public reputation of of like, yeah, they're fighting against the corruption by doing this.
Right. So yes, that's actually a really good point. Is that you actually have maybe not as the way. Well, so, yeah. So does your reputation come as part of your family, or are you purposely distancing yourself from your family to protect them, so that your identity as a crew is just there's these crazy dudes who are trying to like stop all the gangs in Crow's Foot. Uh, where do you position yourselves right now? Or have you not decided? Are you so like a fledgling group that that hasn't really come up yet? You've been beating skulls, but no one's really identified who you are as a group yet.
Mm, yeah, I think probably. Well, we are starting with a bit higher up. Maybe it's because of the residual greatness, but I'm thinking that yeah, maybe our agenda is kind of unknown at this point.
You think
Okay.
so? I kind of feel like there's a flaunting of convention going on,
Mm,
which is one of those things that ruffles feathers. Like we tend to do things like in the ways that it's just not done.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
And
yeah,
that sounds like a thing that's your whole family. I mean, from everything you guys described, it's not like your apples didn't fall that fall from the tree. Like it sounds like maybe your family hasn't been known for causing this much disruption in the past, but like this is kind of
right.
like what the Whalens do. They just cause problems for people.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think we're like I think we're going from like the folk, like basically like the historical family who's like known for like for their feuds into crossing the line into like folk hero territory
Yeah.
is what's happening. So like I think it's very much like the Wayland's family, but it's like going from what was that famous feud between the two families?
oh the uh
Hatfields
God
and
the
McCoys.
yeah
Hatfields and
Yeah,
Hatfields and
McCoy.
McCoys.
like crossing over from the Hatfields to the McCoys to like something more like Davy Crockett-ish.
Yeah. Well, and it seems like a real impetus for that is that if the Bookers who were just like your own personal like they just hated you and no one like you two were just always at war with one another, but now that the Bookers are teamed up with the Crows, they're like way more dangerous than they used to be. So now you fighting them and by extension you fighting the Crows means you're representing a lot more than just the Wayland family at this point because
Yeah,
now
Right.
like your enemies are on a much higher scale than they used to be.
Yeah.
Um, awesome.
and
I
maybe
like
the
it.
Bookers have not been like really nice to the people
Yeah.
unengaged in this. Like they've
Yeah.
been they've been keeping up the whole policy of if you're not with us, you're against us.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
and they have this newfound power that they're definitely flexing. So,
Yeah. Well, and now they're kind of part of the system, right?
yep.
Like,
I mean, frankly, they just got to it first, right? Like anybody in their right mind would want the sport that they have, but that doesn't make them, but they're still awful and they're still making everyone's lives miserable. I love it. I love it. Cool. Choose a contact. You begin with one of these contacts from the list. Badger, a tinker. Mara, chief inspector. Strader, a talented harpist. Amelia, a spirit trafficker. Twelves, a steamship rustabout. Or Soren, a restless ghost. And that's on page 7 of the Vigilante crew sheet, if you have the thing on. Who's a contact that your entire crew has?
Yeah, I'm trying to find the list right now.
Yeah, left column, halfway, right in the middle, page 7.
Yeah, right now it's not showing me page numbers, so.
Oh, darn it. Second page from the end, under Vigilante crew creation.
I think Mara, chief inspector
That could be
of
cool.
the blue coats. Is that what that means, or?
The chief inspector. So the bluecoats are pretty much like the brute squad. They are not like They're not like the detective end of the law. So while the bluecoats and the inspectors are both part of the justice system, they are parallel rather than
Mhm.
the serial tiers. Uh, so the inspectors can operate as um, what's it called? What's it called? Who are the police of the police? Why am I forgetting their names?
Oh, like internal
Internal
affairs.
Internal affairs. Yeah, they can't operate as internal affairs on the blue coats. They can't, but they're also like the principal detectives of crimes rather than just sort of the beat cops and the thugs. So yeah, part of the legal system for sure. Awesome.
Or yeah. Well, does that step on your toes too much, Wesley?
No, I'm good with that. In fact, it might be interesting to know how much Mara knows about like my various,
Yeah.
web of lies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, presumably Mara knows you as Duke Bancor.
Mhm.
If it knows you as Thrasher, Duke Bancor, and Echo rather than as
Hmm.
a Wayland, or
Yeah, I
or
think
not. Like,
people like call me Duke for short. Does that
nice.
sound good? So it's not just a huge pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Every time does that.
Was it one of those things where you're like, no, I'm Duke Bancor, and people are like, whatever, Duke. Like they just like swarmed it immediately. Like you didn't have a
No,
chance.
I think I'm good. The thing about the slide is they actually like get to dress like far fancier than they actually like have the wealth for because one of their gears is fine clothes and jewelry. So
Yeah.
I think no one questions that I'm this nobility, even though like they don't know like what I'm the Duke of.
Right.
Just like, oh yeah, it completely makes sense that he's this like noble come here to like mess with this ridiculous gang war. Like they think I'm doing the Bruce Wayne thing.
Yeah. Um, we'll figure out how your cousins fit into that when they see them with you. But
Mhm.
we'll figure that out in play. See how that looks. Um, awesome. I skipped a step. Sorry. So we'll go back. Choose two upgrade boxes. So you have on the sheet you have upgrades in the lower right hand section.
Hmm.
Oh, okay.
The upgrades that are in white over on the far right are common upgrades that any crew can take, and the upgrades that are in the sort of gray background that are vigilante specific upgrades.
Okay.
And those upgrades have their description on page. I think. Do they have their description? Um, no.
Yeah, it's on the previous page, page 7, in the right hand side. For
The
the vigilantes, the crew upgrades
Oh,
for the
there it is. There it is. Yes, my own damn thing. I was like, I know.
Oh,
I
there we
thought
go.
I put it somewhere. Right. Yeah. There you go. And just the bold ones just mean they're better. Like every crew has like three things that are either fine or quality or sort of better than the standard upgrades. So those are the ones that are bold. It's like fine case files. Instead of like for another crew, it might just be case files on on various factions. In your case, they're quality case files, which you could have gotten from Mara the Inspector or
my.
with your keys of blue or what? Sorry.
I was gonna say Grace, who's the extortionist.
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, you pick two upgrades. If you want a cohort, which means like a crew that works for you, that counts as both of them.
I'm interested in the concealable gear.
Cool.
That sounds good. Uh,
Awesome. So you have one item that is both does not count towards your load, so you could like have something and it won't increase your load, and it is not. It is difficult to detect, and you can pick that item like whatever you want. You don't have to specify what it is.
do you guys want to do find case files as well, or do other things look better?
Mm,
Find case files would would suggest that either through Mara or through Wesley, you've sort of like been taking advantage of your blue coat, like law connection to like get the better, which fits in with like what you said about Wesley and Bajo, that like, yeah, you totally are on the take, and don't pass it up to the inspector, but you use it yourself to screw them over. So
Yeah.
I kind of dig that. Like we've just been collecting dirt on people.
yep.
Yeah. And like not all of it is on like the Lampblacks. Like some of it could be like stuff the Lampblacks have collected on other people that they're saving for like saving for the right time.
Right. Well, like one thing I'll tell you that you definitely know is the Crows just changed their leadership of the Crows just changed, and it's because Rorik the old leader, died, and a lot of people suspect that Lyssa, his sort of second in command, off them, and because she's pretty fearsome herself. But no one is certain, and B, no one really wants to like say it outright. You guys know it definitively. She totally did. She absolutely killed her boss. Took power, and that could be used against her. But you also know a lot of people whisper it and don't want to say it because of the retribution that might come from exposing it. But unlike others who suspect it, you know it for a fact. And others as well. That's just one little tidbit. Nice. Okay, you go to contact. What's your crew name? Do people call you the Waylands, or are you? This kind of goes back to: are you representing the family openly? Which it seems like you are. Like it seems like the Wayland family is like stepping up to like clean up the streets.
That's right. All punk rock and shit.
Yeah. But I also know that Duke wants his his identity hidden, so I don't know if it's kind of like Duke helping the Waylands, but
he wears a paper bag on his head.
Well,
but
he pretends to be their patron rather than one of them.
With like basically being associated with the Waylands in this, I think that's absolutely what we're doing. It's just when I take off like the fancy clothes, no one recognizes that. Oh, I'm actually that blue coat guy.
Nice. Awesome. So you're the Waylands. I like it. Okay, so you guys didn't take a layer upgrade, but you automatically have a layer that's hidden. This is another playtest question. I thought hidden layer made sense to Vigilantes. Everybody gets one layer upgrade for free, like that they start with, just like all the character types get like one, some skill points, some action points that they get for free. Do you think that makes sense for your layer to be hidden? In your case, it might really not be if you're like the family and everybody knows you. Maybe your layer provides quarters or something else. Let's say you get one free dot. It can be hidden, but it can be anything else. I'm curious what you guys would want to have in your layer.
I think it still makes sense that we have just a hidden location that we use to meet. Maybe there's like the public face for the family, but like us, doing some of the crazier stuff, we've got, and to do these plannings and to, hide this stuff. I think it absolutely makes sense that we have someplace hidden.
Yeah, I think that's totally appropriate. Like maybe there's like the bar where like people know that's where like the Waylands hang out, but we meet up somewhere like that's not there to discuss real business.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the bar gets the shakedown all the time.
Right.
Trying to like find her stash and things like that in the bar, and like they're convinced it's in the bar, but it's not in the bar.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's so when like a blue coat report comes in, they say like, oh, we're gonna put a sting on the bar. You're like, whatever, fine. Like it's all good. It doesn't matter. That happens all the time. It's like not important. So
Right in the stables, like 2 blocks down. That's where we
right.
actually do our business.
So is the bar the leaky bucket? Is it the devil's tooth? Is it the old rasp?
I think it's the broken tooth.
Broken tooth. Awesome.
Do you guys like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's some heady ale right there. It's called the broken tooth. Um, a lot of bar fights in the broken tooth.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, the sign on the front, like it's got a picture of somebody who's got like a gap tooth smile, and that person looks very like they have real strong Booker features.
nice.
Like it doesn't say it outright, but you're like, oh no, that totally looks like one of the Bookers.
Nice.
And I think the true irony of the sign is it's like masterfully carved.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Like there was a lot of attention paid into
somebody,
this.
a really skilled artist.
Yes.
Took time. So that's the false front. So where is your hidden location? What's it like? What kind of place do you guys hold up on? Is it like the warehouse where you do all you kind of were talking about hiding amongst your like alchemical concoctions? Is it where like the ore gets processed and so no one ever thinks to look there?
Or where the goods come in, maybe. And then,
like a dock.
or something like that.
Sure, like a dock house.
Because the ore can come through there too.
Right. Boathouse is a layer upgrade, so maybe it's like an old dock house that isn't in use. That you guys work out of.
I think maybe there was like a really terrible like chemical spill there, and it still just reeks. Like I know for a fact the blue coats won't patrol there because criminals won't go there because it smells that damn bad.
It's basically like a toxic waste dump. Like we're meeting in a toxic waste spills night.
Just put this handkerchief over your face.
That's right. Don't worry, you get used to the smell eventually.
Yeah.
Also, I promise it's not doing anything permanent to your nose.
I like the idea that like Echo just doesn't even notice it. She's fine with it.
Oh yeah, no.
Thrasher just so freaking like doped up on Black Lotus that it's like it stinks, but it's fine. You're like no, do it. and I could just imagine like Wesley just dying. Like this is the worst. Smells so bad. Oh, I love it. Cool. Where are we? We are crew name and layer and details. Awesome. You have an old dock house that's a toxic waste dump. No one goes there.
I think officially it's part of my patrol.
Yeah. Right.
But no one actually expects me to patrol there, and they think I'm just crazy for doing it. They're like, "You don't really need to do it." I'm like,
hey,
"Look, it's the job."
So normally you start with 0 tier, which means you're like the lowest level faction, weak hold, 0 rep, and 2 coin. I'm going to go ahead and again, because we're like going to progress you guys a little more, I'm going to start you with 2 rep as well, which is important. It could be important in downtime because you can spend it, and so I want you to have few more resources. Okay, and then assign faction status ticks. Each player assigns a positive faction tick and a negative tick with any tier 1 or tier 2 faction. And then as a group you assign a positive or negative tick with a tier 3 faction and say why these folks hate you. I did not put the faction sheet on the Vigilantes doc, which I now realize I should probably do because it's part of Blades. And so when John puts it in the book, he won't need to add it because it'll already be there. But for me, playtesting, I should have given that to you. So let me.
Is it in the quick start?
It is in the quick start. Yeah.
It's in the full quick start. It's not in the player version.
Oh,
It's
it's on
not
the
on the
playbook
handout.
one?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
on page 43, but I will export it out right now and send it to you.
I can find it.
Okay.
I have the
Yeah, I think I'm the only
version
one that
5
doesn't
quick
have
set.
anything.
Yeah, I'll shoot it over to
I'll
you.
reiterate that it's because I am clearly dumb and don't know what good games are.
You only like weird things.
I only like
You're a
weird
weird
things.
guy.
I only play D&D. Wait,
Yeah.
no, that's not true.
All right, so
If you only
Sean,
play D&D, I feel so sorry for you.
I am not that guy. Trust me.
no, it's not at all. If anything, it'd be I only play Burning Wheel.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna shoot this over to Sean shortly. Um,
BRB.
all right, we just let them know him for a second. No problem. All right. Okay, Sean, I sent it over. So we're gonna add the Bookers as a faction because clearly they are important and they need to be represented on this list. Since the Crows are a tier 2 faction and you're a tier 0 faction, it seems fitting that the Bookers now elevated to be a tier 1 faction. They have patronage and therefore higher status. They have a little bit more muscle and all that jazz. No, I just closed the doc on accident. Thought I was closing the one I sent. And they are, let me see where to put them. All right, so you guys tell me, do you think that they are criminal underworld or labor and trade? Like, is their primary activity legit trade, or is their primary is that also cover and they are really in the same race as you, which is they're smugglers, in which case they'd be underworld. It seems like they're underworld, but I could see going either way.
Yeah, I'm feeling underworldy.
Yeah, I think they're hoping to like take over one of the one of the labor fields as someone gets eliminated from all of this like feuding.
Yeah.
And I think that's why they're siding with the Crows, because both the Lamp Blacks and the Red Sashes, I believe, if I recall, are both associated with various different labor unions.
Yeah, the Lamp Blacks, well, they sort of used to be. The Lamp Blacks, back when gaslighting was prevalent, they were the ones who were the ones who lit the lamps and then also doused them. And once gaslighting basically kind of not only became obsolete, I mean, it's still used occasionally, but it's more like for effect. It seemed old-timey most of the time. Or if you're really, really poor, but most lighting is now electric lighting, and so they lost the entire union lost their jobs and they took to crime. So yeah, they're very much a ex-labor union that well, we don't have any jobs, so we'll start criming.
We got to feed our family somehow.
Yep, not completely dissimilar from you guys.
Right.
Except for perhaps you're going in the opposite direction. You're started from crime and you're trying to make something better of yourselves.
Yeah.
But yeah, so cool. We'll put the Bookers as a tier 1 faction in the underworld. So yeah, so if you want to be at war, that means you have 3 negative ticks with somebody. and each of you get to pick somebody you have a positive and a negative relationship with. So all three of you can just take the Bookers at negative, and then you have three negative ticks with them, and you're at war.
And we're straight up at war right there. Nice.
Yeah, like you can just start at war if you want.
Yeah, no, we're totally at war right
And
now.
normally I would say that's a terrible idea because war really messes you up. But since you have Life is War, not only does it not mess you up that badly, but you also get additional rep for each score you pull. So
Nice.
you know,
Let's do it.
you still take additional heat from the score though. It does not remove that part. But all right, so Booker faction, you're at -3. That was easy. So now everybody pick one faction that you have one faction that's of tier 1 or 2 that you have positive relationships with, and they can be in any of the categories: criminal underworld, city institutions, labor and trade, faith, etc.
I think we have a positive with the canal dockers.
Cool. What is do you give them business?
I think we give them trade in kind because they're the guys that work the canal docks, right? Like
Yep.
like they're I can't remember the name of them, but they're longshoremen,
Yeah.
right? So we're always moving goods. We use them to move goods, and occasionally we're like, you've been helping, so like we'll give you a cut.
Nice. So you guys have business with them, and it's been good. It's been good for them.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. What do you think, Thrasher? Who else do you have a positive rapport with?
I'm gonna say the Dagger Isles Consulate.
Cool.
Um,
How did that? So you came on good terms with the Dagger Isles. How did that manifest for
you know what?
for?
No, never mind. Sorry,
That's
not Dagger
fine.
Isles Consulate.
No problem.
Let's go with the Blue Coats. We actually have.
Bluecoats is actually a tier 3. So you guys
right.
you
Okay.
can pick the Bluecoats as a whole crew, but as an individual, you have to pick a tier 1 or tier 2. So you'll get an opportunity to pick a tier 3 at the end, but first you each pick a tier 1 or tier 2.
Let's say the Lamp Blacks.
Okay.
I believe Duke already has a relationship with them.
Yeah, well, I think the Lampblacks, we had originally posited that because you guys sort of burned them in the Red Sashes, that they hated the Waylands, but like times are always shifting, and now that the Bookers have sided with the Crows, what was previously a rivalry could now be a boon friendship, even though that may be very short-lived, unless that messes up your sort of concept, Dave.
No, whatever people want to do, I'm fine with.
I
Go.
can go with the Dimmer sisters. I was just picking.
No, it's good. So, is your strength of Lampblacks come directly from them opposing the Crows getting stronger, and them sort of wanting to?
And by extension, the Bookers getting stronger. Yeah, we're like, it's one of those things. They're on such a different playing field than we are.
Yeah.
Whereas we have the rivalry with the Bookers, so it's like, we'll try and we're not gonna, we're gonna go above the maybe even they would be someone who might ally with us at one point.
Right. Well, in a +1 relationship, like a -3, the degree of your relationship matters. So +3 is like you guys are blood brothers and stick with each other through thick and thin. +1 is that they'll help you if it doesn't make them doesn't put them in danger, or they don't have to go
Yeah.
out of their way, and they expect you to do the same. So I can imagine that as a real relationship of convenience of like, oh, looks like the Crows just bolstered their numbers with the Bookers. Yeah, we should probably do the same thing.
The enemy of my enemy.
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
you know, I might have, like, we might have contributed to that. Like, I might have known, like, what a minor annoyance to the Lampblacks were, and we just happened to have done a score against them.
Yeah, you just happen to have jacked their day. Nice. And Dave, you picked the final one. You have a positive.
I'm torn between either the inspectors or who doesn't want to be friends with Ulf Ironborn, the person who is a faction of themselves. Like,
Yeah.
one person is a faction.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
pretty tempting.
Well, he's a very strong personality. I mean, it doesn't mean that he doesn't have a crew, but it's not, the crew is not defined by what they do. They're defined by Ulf as their leader. He's a Skovlander. He's come for blood and profit, and he is he doesn't operate in Crowsfoot, but he operates on the docks, which are just adjacent. And he's a very strong up and coming individual. But yeah, like everyone just identifies him as Ulf's, as the Ironborn, even if they're like not related to Ulf at all. They're all just seen as it.
I always like the interpretation of Ulf. Like, yeah, he might have a crew, but he is like, even when he's not without the crew, he is the entire faction.
Yes,
like, he is just that tough.
So why are you guys on good terms with him?
I think I think Duke has a social relationship with Ulf. Like, we're drinking buddies.
Cool.
And sometimes we throw business each other's ways, but it's kind of like, one night he was getting drunk at his favorite bar, and I had come in and started causing a ruckus, and he thought it was hilarious. So.
Awesome. Cool. And then as a gang, you guys will pick a tier 3 faction or lower. You can pick lower if you want. You have +1 with, and a tier 3 faction you have -1 with. So this is the point where if you wanted to, you could have positive faction with Bluecoats. Although I really think the Bluecoats hate the Waylands, honestly, because because the whole reason why Wesley changed his name is so he could get into the Bluecoats. Yeah. So I would almost say
the Seaside Dockers. We already have the canal, but or sailors. I mean, something that is the fencing aspect of it. Ministry of Provisions.
Yeah.
Gondoliers, dockers, sailors, all.
Oh, Provisions is too high. Sorry.
Provisions is
sailors.
Yeah. Having sailors as friends is.
Yeah, it's always good. Who are the Deathland Scavengers?
Oh, they sound cool. Let's just be friends with them. I don't care who they are.
I was gonna say.
All right, so they are the Deathland Scavengers are basically people who have a death sentence, and they are, instead of rotting for life in Ironhook or just being killed outright, they're sent outside the wall to go scavenge for crazy ass shit with a basically 0 chance of survival assumed.
Okay, right.
Like they just they and it's under faith and weirdness. There is some religious affiliation associated with it. It's kind of like going to the wall. In fact, it's very much like going to the wall. But they're inside the city. I mean, they're not outside because nobody can live outside. But they go outside, which is just crazy because nobody goes outside.
Right.
So yeah, by all means.
What do you guys think about maybe being friends with like the Weeping Lady or the Reconciled?
One of the other.
I will just say yes.
Awesome.
because both of those sound awesome for different reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Weeping Lady is a charity and pseudo religion honoring the first Lord Governor of Duskwall, Lady Devera, said to be the champion of the poor.
Oh yeah, that sounds perfect.
Yeah.
I forgot there's actually a write-up of these things. I wasn't
On the next
wrong.
page. Yeah, I should have looked at that.
I wasn't wrong about the Deathlands because John just told me about them, but I could have said it more succinctly. All right, and who doesn't like you? I think you guys should take the blue coats personally. I think
Yeah,
that's
I
definitely,
think the blue coats do not like us.
yeah. You're just scum.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
pretty
and we're
much.
mouthy. Like,
Yeah.
like we don't bother to be like appropriately deferential.
Right, and I think you guys don't. You guys don't play by the rules. You don't pay them off. You don't do what you're supposed to do, which is, pay them their cut, and then they leave you alone. So,
Yeah.
So they don't leave us alone.
they don't leave you alone. Basically, they're gonna get their cut one way or another. And
We'd be like the assholes who, like, after a thunderstorm and there's a bunch of down trees, like, yell at the blue coats, "Hey, do your fucking job and move that tree!"
Yeah. Well, and they're probably also not used to dealing with people who are like willing to take the black eye for not following the program. Like,
right, and they don't want to kill anyone because that's just freaking paperwork.
yeah,
And, like, that's a problem. So they usually assume that a few beatings will, like, put people in line. And when you guys, like, get beat a few times and then just, like, still don't fall in the line, it's really frustrating. Because
yeah,
then they're like, well, we don't really want to escalate, but, you got to show them who's who. It's rough. Awesome. Well, it's 9:14, which is about. I was gonna only go till about 9:30, so we could kind of do like an opening scene. But actually, let me just double check that there isn't any other pieces. I think that's a sign fashion. So you did not pick a cohort, so we don't need to do that. So nice. You guys have a lair, your contacts. You didn't take turf, so you don't have any turf you're controlling yet. So I might suggest that as an initial score is to try and sort of carve out some area, some place, so gain the trust of some other families and peoples by protecting an area from the other gangs.
right.
That's an obvious score, although it doesn't have to be your first one. But um, awesome, thank you guys. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah.
Do
I
you
could
want-
totally see our first score being for publicity.
Yeah. I mean, you really have to kind of, given what you're all about, you need support from someone, because otherwise, like, sooner or later, someone's just going to kill you all if you don't
Right.
get support. So doing that publicity is huge. This is a lot of fun. I'd love to see in action. Are you guys interested in scheduling another game?
Yeah. Assuming. Yeah. If we can have some possible dates, then yes, I'm good.
Yep.
Excellent.
I would love to do that. My schedule is always impossible to determine.
Yeah.
So
What's your schedule may be the trickiest for ours, although mine can be kind of nutty. Do you have any dates that you think would work, or do you want to just kind of wait until wait till next week or the week after and then sort of see how it's looking? And
yeah, like right now, Tuesdays and Wednesdays are out. Tuesdays I have another game, and Wednesdays I have a guitar lesson.
Cool.
And next Thursday is out for me because there's an open house at one of the schools that we're looking at for Tycho.
Oh,
So,
cool. How
aside
are
from
Mondays for people? Thursdays are usually pretty bad for me because I've got other games as well.
So I'll be honest, I work a mostly evening job now. I'm on Central Time, so if you start a little bit later, it might be a little bit easier for me. But Thursdays and Saturdays are my days off of work where you don't have to worry about evenings.
Got it.
Also, Sunday are off at I work an earlier shift, so if it's Sunday evening, I could potentially do it.
Okay. Yeah, I could. Let's see. I could do Thursday the 24th, a little bit later, or I could probably do a Saturday or Sunday. I don't know how well that works for
Let's
folks.
do Thursday. I think Thursday the 24th should work for me.
Yes, I have nothing listed that day.
Cool. Excellent. So I've got a work thing that I've got to be at until 7, so I could start at 7:30. Would that work for folks?
That would be perfect because that's usually when I have the boy in bed.
Okay. Is that good for you guys?
9:30 start for me, but like I said, I work evenings, so okay, it's not really an issue.
All right. Thank you for being flexible. I appreciate it.
I mean, it's later than I'm used to starting games because, you know,
Right. Because
most people aren't on the West Coast, and when it's like, yeah, 9:30 start, it's like, but that means I'll be up past midnight. I'm like,
all right.
Now, there is a slim possibility that I might be in a different position by then, but I doubt it. So I'll let you know if that kind of changes on my end.
So is it no good for you now, but it might be good if your position changes, or is it okay for you now?
It's good for me now, but if
Okay.
for some reason I don't expect that, even if I've been applying for a lot of jobs in my company that would not be evening positions anymore.
Cool.
And if I get one of them, I think it's unlikely that I would start by before the 24th, but in case it does, I'll let you know.
Cool. All right. Yeah, we can totally reschedule. It's
Yeah.
not. It's definitely not a. Wayland.
And you know, if it turns out that we can't make all of our schedules align and I just won't be able to participate, then you know, you guys have to deal with all the fucked up things that I set up.
All the problems you got. Nah. Now we'll. I mean, I try to with 3 players, which is really my favorite. Because it's like I feel like people get enough screen time and we can really delve into everyone's storylines. I love it, but I also generally feel like if somebody can't make it, then we just reschedule. I'm not under.
No, and if you know if there's a day that you guys want to do it, I just know like it doesn't matter, but like there's some days that you guys already mentioned that are also conflicts for me. So if another day comes up, you can always check with me, and if I can make it, I'll make it. So. But for now, the 24th is good.
By the way, Sean, please make a Google event because I will never remember 4 weeks out.
Oh no, no worries at all. I'm making it now, and there you go. You should be getting it in there. And I will try not to accidentally think it's Tuesday instead of Thursday and freak out get everyone again.
Yeah, when you were like, it's Tuesday, and I saw the email, I'm like, oh, hell no, it's not.
Yeah. No, that was just me smoking crack. It was funny because I had it in my head that we were playing on Tuesday, and I didn't check the calendar, didn't do anything. I was like, yeah, we're gaming today. Yeah,
yeah, that was, man, that would have been a really, I would have felt so bad because I was doing a video shoot from 6:30 to 11:30 that night.
Oh God. Yeah, I'm not about anybody dying to be in this game. So cool, thanks guys. That was a ton of fun. I cannot wait to see what the Waylands are up to.
Yeah.
We will see your first score, and this actually gives me some time to flesh out some more of the bookers. I know Chael, but you know I want to make a couple others in my head.
Nice.
And I'm gonna resist any like situation because I think it's cooler to start with you guys sort of making the first step rather than you be like, okay, and then this happens. What are you gonna do? So we're gonna really start with like, cool. You guys are hanging around. What's your first move?
Right.
And we'll go from there.
Cool. Good deal.
Yeah.
Well, it was good playing with you guys. Nice
Yep.
to meet you, Dave.
Yeah.
David? Dave?
Either.
Which do you prefer? Either. All right.
Yep.
Nice to meet you.
Pleasure meeting you. It's always good to see you two, Norm
Yeah.
and Sean.
Likewise.
Yeah, it's great seeing you guys.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna kill the broadcast and then I'm gonna head out.
All right.
All right.
Head
Good
on.
night, guys.